right. Little rock to get Bo jacked up before the show. He's over there jamming out.
Got my monster drink and everything.
Nice. You need to make a whole album, though.
Yeah.
It's actually a 6-minute song. It's pretty cool.
Wow.
It's amazing what AI can do.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
Need some AI graders at PSA. Maybe get through that backlog and make things a little cheaper.
Yeah.
Well, if you listen to that interview with Ryan, it sounds like they've got some AI, but they want to keep the grading part of it personal, if you will.
Yeah.
Terry says Bo's always jacked up.
That's right. Brings the energy.
Woohoo.
All right. Well, welcome in, everybody. We know a lot of our viewers watch this after the fact because we're at noon on a Wednesday, so we don't get a lot of live viewers, but we get a lot of views after the fact. So we want to welcome in our good friend Eric from the Card Society. He is a whatnot extraordinaire, if you will. Brought a lot of knowledge with the last show. We've had a lot of people asking, hey, when's Eric going to be back? They don't like seeing Bo and I every other week. They want to see more Eric. So we promised we would get Eric on here, once a month or at least once a quarter or however often we can get him on here. And so today is the day. He's going to bring some knowledge for you guys. I'll let you hand it over to you, Eric, and I'm going to pull stuff up as you talk about it. I'll pull it up and we'll pull some charts up and Bo and I can chime in, but you've got the airways. It's all yours.
Awesome. Yeah. Excited. Appreciate you guys having me on. Always love talking sports and cards with you guys and how to make money, getting into some of these athletes. This is a fantastic time of the year because you can really play so many sports, and you got the World Cup coming up too. So it's just like there's so many plays out there. It was hard to even narrow it down to enough to fit into one show. We could probably do one every day, not run out of ideas.
Yeah, I feel bad for the people that have very narrowed focuses, where they 5 or 10 or 20 cards. You and I, Terry, or Eric, we've talked about this before. We cast such a wide net that oftentimes people will be like, well, how did you know about that one? Well, I cast such a wide net. I don't post all the fails. I fail quite often too, but
sure. Yeah.
When
we all do.
When you throw out, when you're buying 100 different players, your odds are you're going to hit that home run.
Yeah. And you don't need to hit them all. And that's the beauty of it. It's like grading cards. You don't need to get all 10s. You can get some 8s and 9s and still profit, just by getting that 110 that multiplies, 4 or 5x.
Yeah, absolutely. So who do we want to, what are we going to start with for sports, and what athlete do we want to talk about first?
You want to do NBA first?
We can start with NBA.
Let's maybe Tatum, top of the list.
I love Jason Tatum. I think that's going to be a big buy here right before he comes back.
Yeah, he's a guy I've been really buying all season. But somebody I want to talk about now as Boston's looking like maybe the 3 seed in the playoffs. So I always NBA playoff strategy for me, I usually try to focus on teams that will at least get out of the first round. I feel like that is when the cards really start to go up. Like even last year, Halliburton, he didn't really move that much after their first round. I think they beat Milwaukee in the first round. He didn't move that much, but when they won that second round series, his cards really started to take off. So I feel like that's kind of the sweet spot. With Tatum, he's obviously been hurt. You can see that big dip that happened there, and then it kind of evened out. But it's a good time to buy him. It looks like he's coming back up a little bit now based on some of those graphs. And once he starts playing again, everyone's going to be clamoring for his stuff. So I think there's a small window before he comes back, before the playoffs start, to get some of his cards. I really like just his base Prism. I feel like his base Prism raw to grade is a really good play. But if you have the funds and you have a bigger budget and want to go after a silver or another parallel, you certainly can make more money on those. And then case hits too. Don't forget about any sort of case hit. Super short print of Tatum is a pretty good buy. I like his optics. I feel like the optic hollows aren't getting as much love as they used to, but red and yellow, some of the other parallels, I feel like you can do pretty well on those too.
Yeah, I've always been a fan of the optic hollow myself, but they really have seemed to have taken a back seat recently. I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't know why either. It's a little odd.
I mean, it's great for me because that's what I collect. I try to do more optic hollows for my PC than silver prisms, just because they're a little bit more affordable, and I like them just as much. So I've been enjoying it as I've been racking up my PC with optic hollows. But I don't, even in football, the optic hollows seem to have softened a little bit.
Yeah, and I wonder what people are going to feel over time, because we're losing these products as, there's no optic or prism for NBA coming out. They might do unlicensed. I think they came out with unlicensed Dunris. So will people over time look at optic as more valuable since it's not being made anymore? Is it going to kind of be like those old school Topps Chromes cards were, or will it just be prism is what people are going to want long term?
I don't know. As a collector, I prefer the optic. I like the color parallels and I like the hollows.
Yeah. All right. You want to do Brunson? Yeah, Brunson. I really, really like Brunson. I feel like the Knicks are bound to at least make the conference finals. I don't know that they will get to the finals this year, but I really like that team to win 2 playoff matchups. I feel like Brunson he's the unsung leader, the hero. His silver prism PSA 10s are climbing, but if you look at that price compared to some of the number 1 players on other teams, he's very low. $380 for a PSA 10 silver prism is not that high compared to a lot of the other guys. So I do see, him going on a nice playoff run. I see a nice spike for him. There really isn't any other Nick that I love at the moment in terms of their card prices and the collectability or desirability of that card too. Yeah, he's been on a nice little climb recently.
Yeah, I think all the talk with the Knicks trying to get Giannis at the trade deadline, I think that kind of really helped Brunson's card prices, and it really hurt Cat's prices. If you look at a Cat, his prices are down, which is odd, being some of the other Knicks are up, but the pink ice here is one I've always liked to Brunson.
Oh, that's
yeah.
Card. Yeah.
I love 2018 too. There's something about it. You've got SGA, Luka, Brunson, Trae Young, rookie year. Just that design. I agree. Those cracked ices are beautiful cards.
And then I'm a sucker for color match. So this.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Look at that. Yeah, I would love to. There you go, 600 for the 175 fast break. But if you've got the budget, you can do really well on those.
And that's down. That's down 1% from a year ago. You look in the last 60 days, it's down 3%. That's a card with a pop 48 that if the Knicks get a little hot and they get a little hype, low pop cards like that are the stuff that just skyrocket to the moon.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that red, white, and blue, the barbershop parallel too on 2018. Love those cards.
Yeah, that's, $155 is for a pop 371.
That's a good buy. I'd buy those all day long.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, Brandon Miller would be next on my list, and they got something cooking in Charlotte. That team right now has been playing some amazing basketball. Nice combo of players. Brandon Miller's market has definitely been on the rise recently. I think there's still an opportunity. He was down. God, look at those dips. He got hurt a few times. And Charlotte was, of course, really, really inconsistent. But I feel like with their new lineup, with Kahn playing fantastic, him, LaMelo, Brandon Miller, Bridges on the court at the same time, that's a hard team to stop. The way they shoot the ball too. I think Miller, I've really, really liked his skills ever since he was at Alabama. I thought his athletic ability plus his shooting ability, likability, he would be a star in this league. And right now he is, 175 for a PSA 10 silver prism, pretty low. It is a little bit higher of a pop count on that card than some of the other guys we've talked about. But I feel like Brandon Miller is long-term somebody that I want to have a nice stash of his cards. Very, very young player. He's on the rise, and he's kind of been the forgotten guy in that 2023 class versus Wemby, of course, and Amen Thompson was sort of the guy that took off towards the end of last year. So Miller's the guy that I've been targeting out of that 2023 class to really make a nice spike over probably the next year. I think Charlotte, they could make the playoffs this year. Right now, they're in the play-in game. So should that happen, I think you'll see a nice spike on Miller cards. But overall, I think Charlotte is a team that's going to be contending in the East at some point soon, and he's the guy that I feel like will really, really climb at that time.
A couple years ago, I bought 5 of the silvers, and I graded them and went 4 for 5 on 10s, and I felt like it was a card that wasn't as hard to get it. That it was fairly. I don't know if it still has a high gem rate, but it felt like it was an easier one to grade to me.
Yes. What I did was I focused on. I thought that Brandon Miller was one of my targets coming into this year. I bought 3 of his cards, and I don't know how many of them were. There were only one sale. So this one here that I got my dot on 11/30. When we talk, you talk about the off season or the dip that you talk about between Thanksgiving and Christmas. I was really targeting them. I got one for $110 there, and then 2 days after Christmas, I got one for $115. So I bought 2 of them, and then I sold one. I thought I was doing pretty good, but I see somebody got one higher than me. I sold one there at $203, and then I've still got the other one in there. So I have basically the one I have left. I have for free, so that'll get thrown in my PC now, and I'll wait for him, and that'll be a long-term hold.
That's awesome. Yeah, nice work. That's absolutely great time to buy NBA is in that end of November, December time period. Even early January, NBA cards are still pretty down. And now is kind of we're in that last few weeks to really buy some of these guys before we see that end of season playoff bump. All right, let's go to Sengun. Really, really love Sengun. Super young guy. I think he's 23 still. Seems like he's been in the league for a while, but really 2021 rookie class, which is a super stacked rookie class that I feel like is a little bit underappreciated. That's a nice little rise right there for Sengun. So he's been climbing this year. I feel like there's a good opportunity to get him before Houston really does something in the playoffs. They went out early last year. I don't think that'll happen this year. I think they'll at least get to the second round. He's so much fun to watch. He's like a baby Jokic. At some point in time, he's going to start getting real comparisons to Jokic as one of the top players in the league. I think he's a first-time All-Star this year as well, so he's going to start getting a lot more recognizability throughout the league, throughout the card world as well. And he's the guy on the Rockets. Last year, we saw Amen Thompson cards go crazy towards the end of the year. I don't really want to get into Kevin Durant stuff. So I feel like Sengun is the guy on the Rockets that I want to get some of his cards to have for the playoffs to be able to sell when the Rockets win a few games.
Yeah, this is the card here that I've been targeting. I've recently bought 2 of these. I'm a color match sucker, so I got 2 of these. I probably waited a little bit too long, but I think they're still going to continue to rise. So yeah, I like Sengun.
Yeah, the red ice is nice. I am with you on the color matches as well. They look great in slabs. Desirable cards, color matches are in that category of things people look for. It's something you can also put in an eBay listing that grabs people's attention.
Yeah, for my PC, I always like getting a rookie card with a color match more so even than an optic hollow or a silver prism. If I can get a good color match, that's the one I want for my PC.
Yeah, absolutely. So Asar Thompson, I'm interested to see. Look at those ups and downs on his chart. It looks like overall he's slightly up this year. But he is so cheap compared to his brother, compared to other guys in the league. I'm going to say he has not put up stats like you would want to see from a superstar player. He's been more defensive focused. He's not putting up 20 points a game like Amen does pretty regularly, but he does get stats in all categories. The Pistons were a little weird with his minutes early on. He wasn't seeing as much court time, and I think that might have just been him coming back from his injury and getting his wind. But I expect the Pistons, they're looking like the 1 seed right now. He's going to be a major contributor in the playoffs. He's just as good as Amen, whose silver prisms are 4 times what Asar's are. So I feel like the margin that you can gain on Asar is so big right now. Less than $100 for a PSA 10 silver. I'm all about that. I would grab as many of those as I could find.
Yeah, you don't find players on teams that have a chance to make a deep run, maybe their first ever, long since the days back in the Jordan era when Detroit was regular contenders. They're an actual contender this year. If they make it to the NBA finals, cards of Cade and cards of Thompson are just gonna, I think a double from that $100 to $200, maybe $300 is possible. $100 is so cheap for a silver prism right now of a guy of his caliber.
Absolutely. Yeah. He's, could hit that Jalen Williams type of market that we saw last year with OKC's run. Yeah. And can't have an NBA buy list right now without Cooper Flag on it. Some of his stuff is getting expensive, but you look at his, his paper or his chrome base cards, and the margin that you can make on a raw to grade PSA 10 is so big on these cards. You can get those base paper cards for less than $10, and you're at 237 PSA 10. We talked about this, in the Discord. It's probably going to come down. I think you said 175. You think it'll settle in at?
I think it'll settle in at 175 because I think after the season ends, that card could dip below $100, but I think that there's going to be enough Cooper Flag momentum going into the end of the year that I think they're going to hold in that upper hundreds.
Yeah. So even at $100, that's still a really good play. It reminds me of the Wemby base prism that you could, buy for around 10 to 15 bucks raw. And, that was $100. Now the Wemby silver or not base prism is like 140, 150. So that one's climbed significantly. I feel like flag, you're going to see the dip just because more cards are going to hit the market and we'll see more rookie cards of his and the pop count will go up. But I think he's going to have so much long-term hype and he already is one of the faces of the league right now. And once Dallas, they're going to get another top draft pick. They're going to get another star next to him. And eventually they'll be contending in the West too.
I saw Darius Acuff on the last mock draft, and I was like, "Oh, that'd be killer."
Ooh, nice. Yeah, good boy.
Yeah, I'd love that.
Yeah,
Acuff's in McDonald's too, I think.
He's not. And the other
he's not?
Thomas isn't it. Neither of the Razorbacks that were made this.
Interesting.
Yeah, it bumps me out. Acuff has 0 cards.
Yeah.
All.
I wonder why.
Yeah.
The thing with Cooper Flag right now that I like is you can buy his raw Topps Chrome cards for around 20 bucks. They were going for 30, but now they've settled back in. You can get them 15, 20 bucks on like a Facebook marketplace type area. And you can buy them in bulk, really. You could buy 5 or 10 of them. Even now with PSA going up to $80 for their fast turn, it's a $104 card. You spend 20 bucks and 80. I mean, a PSA 9, you bust even with the upside of a PSA 10 is at 641. It tickled $1,000. I sold all of mine at 600 right when I got them back. And then he broke a couple rookie records and his stuff went up. And, he's, that's just a play right now. It's just easy money.
So you guys are going with the fastest grading on the Cooper Raw.
I am, just because if you can go with the fastest turn and get them back in 30 days and a 9 breaks you even, but a 10 you're making 5x, why wouldn't you want to get them back as fast as you can?
Yeah. That's a big play. Nice job on that one. Yeah, this reminds me of Wemby when 23 Prism first came out, and you could literally sell any Wemby. It was like $30. You make money back on the blaster you just opened. You sell it raw, but then if you graded that thing, they were several $100s at that time. Yeah, so Cade, I feel like is a no-brainer. I know he's been on fire this year, but as the Pistons are looking pretty good in the playoffs, his stuff is going to skyrocket even more. I think we'll see over 1,000 on that silver prism come the playoffs, and I feel like the multiplier you can get on a raw to grade right now with him is pretty significant. Even outside of his silver prism, I would look at maybe some of the cracked ice cards that you can get for a little bit lower of a buy-in cost. I see some of the select cards pop up there too, but a lot of different options of Cade cards you can buy right now. I feel like just overall having some of his more desirable rookies or even some of the newer Panini case hits of Cade are things you really want to get into. So yeah, his ice, there you go, 194 PSA 10. So a lot more affordable to sort of get into those cards versus the silver prism, if you're on a tighter budget. But I would definitely get some Cade cards in the portfolio to have before the playoffs start.
So here's a wild scenario that I read the other day that could happen. If SGA misses a little bit more time with injury, all of the top players with the number of games played to qualify for MVP are pretty much out of it, right? Curry's out of the talk. LeBron's out of the talk. Giannis is out of the talk. Joker's out of they've all missed too much time. there is a world in which if SGA misses, I think it's 8 more games between now and the end of the year, to where he won't be eligible. You could see Cade Cunningham, with leading Detroit to the number 1 seed, pop into and who he started at the beginning of the year, he was 12th in the MVP odds. You could, because the top 5 or 6 guys missed the time, you could see Cade Cunningham potentially end up league MVP. Now there might be an asterisk by it because the other players didn't qualify, but if he could lead them to the number 1 seed and end up with an MVP, I could see a place where that Silver Prism might hit $1,500, kind of like Ant-Man did a couple years ago.
Yeah, good point. That's a great point. Also, to that point, don't forget about the Topps Chrome buyback this year. So the MVP, the base cards are $20 credit at a local card shop. The refractors are $40, and then it goes up numbered cards. So if Cade, if that does start to look like it could potentially happen, and Cade may become the MVP, I would try to snag some of his base 2025 Topps Chrome cards, which you can probably get for like $1 right now, and just stash them. Turn that into $20 a piece and flip them into your local card shop.
Yeah, that's a good point. A lot of people are forgetting the fact that MVP has that $20 buyback. That would explain why the Shea, right now you can get Shea bases for about $4 or $5.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't miss the 8 games, he's a lock for it. So you could turn $5 into $20 real quick.
Yeah, I've got a nice pile. I think I have about 15 of those just sitting in a box waiting to find out the MVP. But yeah, I did the same thing with last year's baseball. I held on to Shohei and Judge, and didn't expect Cal Raleigh to be there at the end, but he was. So yeah, De'Aaron Fox, I feel like he got a lot of hype early on a few years ago. I know Gary Vanderchuk hyped him up several years ago when he was on the Kings. But lately, I don't feel like he's gotten as much hype as he should. I don't think he gets recognized for as good of a player as he is. I really like him as a person, too, off the court. I think he's very smart. He's very well-spoken. So I've always been a big De'Aaron Fox fan. But he's the guy on San Antonio. Castle and Wemby, I feel like their prices are way up. They're both much more expensive than Fox is. So I feel like in terms of margin and what you can make on his stuff, and the price he is now, you can get some of his nice parallels or rookie autos for very low cost right now. If San Antonio, which I think they're locked in or somewhere around the 3 seed right now, wins their first round matchup, or even potentially makes a conference finals run, you're going to see all their stuff go crazy. De'Aaron Fox stuff could potentially go nuclear with a few big playoff games as well.
Yeah, they had Oklahoma's number, it seems, so
yeah,
they could win it all.
For those of you that have followed the show and followed me, you know the story with me and De'Aaron Fox. He's my oldest son's favorite player in the NBA. We've got autographed jerseys. We've got autographed cards. I think we're up to 55 PSA 10 rookie cards in the safe. They're all personal collection type stuff.
Wow.
But much like he told me, if that Bo Jackson set gets $1,000, he's selling it, not asking me. If De'Aaron Fox stuff takes off, I might have to sneak a few of his cards off his pile and sell them as well.
Yeah, I've been buying him all year, especially when he was out, when he was hurt. He was a super great buy at that time. I still feel like he's a really good buy, not just for this season, but long term. I think he's going to win a championship or two. I think San Antonio will. He's part of the big picture there as well.
if anybody's listening and watching and they have this card here, this is the only Prism PSA 10 to complete the rainbow we don't have. So if somebody has this card, last comp 208, wow. I will pay comp. If anybody's watching and has this card, contact me. I will buy it from you. I need it to complete my rainbow.
Pop 23, only 2 sales in the last year. That's crazy.
I know, it's super hard to find, which is why I don't have that card yet.
Yeah, 2017 Prism. Love the design. I love the old school Prism designs. I put 2017 in there too with Tatum and De'Aaron Fox rookie year.
Yeah, we have the rainbow and Prism. This is the only card we're missing for the rainbow and Prism, all in PSA 10s, and then we also have it in Optic. Kind of fun.
Yeah. Yeah, and then another guy I didn't have on the list, I'll say honorable mention, is James Harden. I feel like with the trade to Cleveland, we're really going to see a lot more Harden noise. He's going to be in the playoffs this year. I like the team they have with him, Mitchell. They can do a lot more pick and roll stuff with Mobley and Jared Allen and Harden, similar to what he did, in his early years with Houston. And if he can get out of his playoff funk that he's been the last few years when he's been in the playoffs, I can see James Harden stuff really taking off. I've been buying his paper base tops. You can get those $25-$30 in good condition. And as you can see right now, it's at 137, but his market's been down. He's been on the Clippers. No one's really been paying attention to him. And now he's going to be in the spotlight for the end of the season with the Cavs.
This is the card here I've been chasing down is this one right here.
Oh yeah, Bowman.
The Bowman, the 1948 retro Bowman cards.
Yeah.
These are serial numbered to 1948. And they're going for about $40 raw, but I think that's a really cool looking card.
Yeah, I agree. I like that.
All right, where are we going next?
You want to go college football?
Sure.
Nice. Yeah, so last show I did a lot of prospecting. I tried to do less prospecting on this one and more focused on veterans or established players. I feel like we're in a really good buy window now for both college and pro football. With college football, I'm focusing heavily on quarterbacks who transferred, really guys that went from a so-so program or so-so opportunity into the limelight, and these guys will be the starters. Joey Aguilar was a guy that I really got behind last year after he transferred to Tennessee. And these guys, I feel like a lot of them are 2025 Bowman Chrome, and the prices are now settling down from that initial release period. So it's a good opportunity to go in and buy them. I see Mensa got that spike right there. That's probably about the time that he announced he was going to Miami. He's going to be the starter at Miami next year. And, I don't think a ton of people watched him at Duke. I know Duke had a decent season, but I think Mensa is going to be one of the top quarterbacks in the country next year. Miami's going to be contending again. So his stuff is going to get a lot of hype starting in August and September. And then, of course, if Miami makes the playoffs again, he'll be there as well. But very affordable cards right now. You can get his numbered autos for a decent price. And that's kind of what I target with these guys. I don't even tend to go after the base autos. I just want the numbered colored autos. You pulled up the blue, the color match, very beautiful card. And True Blues out of 150 to me are some of the most desirable Bowman cards.
Yeah, I think that it's worked out pretty well for the last two quarterbacks that have transferred in there, right?
Yeah, Beck stuff went nuts after he was pretty down in the dumps. Nobody wanted his cards after he got hurt at Georgia.
Yeah,
and he had quite the rebound.
The True Blue was only $76.
There you go.
But yeah, I mean, Cam Ward and Beck both saw a nice bump going to Miami. So
Yep.
I think Mensah is going to be a very good buy coming into next season.
All right, you want to do Gunner?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Gunner Stockton actually had a pretty good year last year at Georgia, but he was not, he was not one of the top quarterbacks, one of the guys that you heard talk about on every Saturday. Georgia was there till the end. They did get upset in the playoffs to Ole Miss, but I feel like they're going to be a top 5 team next year. I think his pricing is pretty good for where he's at, and I feel like his numbered autos right now are a really good buy, and he's going to start to get some Heisman hype as he leads Georgia back up towards contention.
Yeah, he is not somebody that I had on my radar, so I find him interesting. Usually you and I have very similar lists, but you've got a couple of guys on your list here today that I wasn't looking at. But $60 for a refractor auto to $299, that's pretty cheap for a guy that is gonna be in the spotlight next year.
Yeah, I mean, starting quarterbacks for top 5 teams that are nationally televised with a massive following. Georgia's football has one of the biggest followings in the country. So those are the guys that I really, really tried to target on this list today.
Yeah, they don't even have him in Market Movers. Doesn't even have him. So it just all they have is the comps for him. They don't have him listed. So they wasn't Teapot. If you're watching, get him in there because he obviously wasn't on their radar either.
Oh,
so
I love it. I like the sneaky plays.
I like this next one we're going to talk about. He's one of my sleepers for the draft this year.
Boston, yeah. So he's I think last show I covered a couple of the other first-round wide receivers. We talked about Mekhi Lemon and Jordan Tyson and Concepcion. Denzel Boston has entered the arena. He is like a Mike Evans Jr., absolute beast. One of those guys you just chuck the ball up and he's going to go get it. He's getting a lot of steam right now for a first-round pick. Wide receiver, you never know who might end up needing a wide receiver in the top 10, top 15 to where he gets that extra boost. But I also feel like wide receivers have like the shortest learning curve in the NFL. I feel like we see a lot of wide receiver, nice rookie seasons. They start right out of the gate sometimes. Same with the running backs too. But yeah, he's a guy that I feel like you can get a very, very affordable price on right now before the draft. Starting March, early April is when draft hype really, really starts to climb. I might not even sell him at the draft. Like I might want to hold him until the preseason and sell him at that preseason hype cycle. So you've got a nice little window, 4-month window to grade him right now and have him back before the season starts.
Full disclosure, when I say he's my sleeper and we cast a wide net, I have 39 of his base autos right now that I've paid $15 or less for.
Wow, that's awesome. I love it.
So
we're on the same page with him.
Yeah, so if they jump up to $30-$45, and I don't plan on grading them, I just plan on holding them and flipping them raw. I was telling Boy, a lot of these. So with PSA jumping, even to 22 and now to $25, my view on that is if you can't get a PSA 9 that's going to sell for at least $60, it doesn't pay to grade those cards anymore. So a lot of these, the reason I like the Bowman first autos is they're kind of like their own little marketplace. You don't need to grade them to make money on them.
Yeah, I agree. What do you think in terms of draft versus preseason
My plan was I was going to see how high they got based on how the draft went. My thought was I'd get rid of about half during the draft and half during preseason, but depends on where he goes. If he goes, up in that 15 to 20 range, then I might think about grading a few of them for the preseason. If he falls to where they're talking now in that 25 to 30 range, I might hold five to 10 maybe for preseason and then sell them all the rest during the draft.
Nice.
A lot of it depends on where he gets drafted as far as my play on it.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, you go into Jeremiah.
Yeah. I don't have much of him because his cards are so freaking expensive.
I bought a green one auto and it gemmed a couple days ago. Yeah.
Very nice. Yeah, Jeremiah's he's gotten some hype, but I think that he's got a lot of opportunity. He's the lone running back I think I'm targeting for a first-round draft pick. Reminds me of Ashton Jeanty last year in terms of hype and pricing, which Jeanty saw a nice little spike. He didn't have the best rookie season, but leading up to the season, Jeanty's stuff was on fire. Jeremiah Love, you can see nice little chart right there of just a steady climb. I think that he's got more room to grow on some of his cards. Maybe not too high of a ceiling, but I certainly could see him going to a big team in the top 10 and getting a lot of noise.
Several mock drafts had him going to the Chiefs, which I think would
Chiefs. Wow.
That would be a great shoot to the moon.
What I would love if his base autos could drop below 100, then I might get a couple before the draft starts, but they were up around that 150 range, and for a base auto, that was just too much for my liking.
Yeah, that's high. He's double the price of a lot of quarterbacks out there too.
Yeah, there are just too many options out there. One of my favorite options is going to be a guy we talk about in a couple more players here, but I'm really loading up on one. We'll get to him and I'll talk about that. But Jeremiah Love, I think he's a top 10 pick, top 15 pick. He's about as safe as it gets in terms of buying cards for this draft, but he is a little bit more expensive than some of the other players.
Yeah, he is, and I agree with you. I think his floor is super high. Barring any sort of injury, he's going to probably be a starter, depending on where he goes. If he goes to a team like Kansas City with a massive fan base and one of the most popular teams, I think he could, hit that 150 raw base auto price. So Garrett Nussmeier was very hyped before the season. He was one of the Heisman candidates. Him and Klubnik, I think, were the two biggest guys that fell off pretty hard this year. Had a rough season at LSU, but he had a really good showing was it the Senior Bowl?
Yeah,
I believe it was the Senior Bowl he played in and did well, but his overall card market is super low. And he's starting to gain some steam as like a round 2 quarterback pick. Somebody might even reach for him in round 1. Maybe he comes out, has a nice combine, but he's going to go early. He's going to be one of the first round selections. And depending on what team he goes to, he may even get some really early playing time. But just to be able to get numbered autos, in that $50 range of him at this point is crazy to me. Considering the talent is still there, the ability is still there. He just has lost that market right now. So I think he's a really good buy going into the draft.
Yeah, he lost his market because the team didn't perform well, not because he didn't perform well. Yeah. I still think he's the second best quarterback in the draft this year. And I think he's going to get a lot of juice around the combines because he's going to test out way better than some of these other quarterbacks. And I think you're going to see quite a bit of hype between the combines and the draft for him. Right now they're saying second round. I think you're going to see him sneak into the late first round.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I'm holding a few of his lower numbered autos. So Byron Brown, I got into Brown last year when he was on South Florida. Started watching him play, and he is one of the most electric players in college football right now. He transferred to Auburn. He is going to be the starting quarterback now at Auburn in the SEC. He was at South Florida. They had some pretty big wins last year. They had some nice upsets. He's probably the best running quarterback in college football or going into next college football season. Very Cam Newton-esque if you want to put a comp towards the Auburn Tigers with him, but he can sling the rock. He can run it. Auburn isn't looking like a top 10 program, but they always compete. They always have a pretty good squad. And I think him making that move to an upper echelon SEC team, he's going to get a lot of noise going into the season and a lot of hype for that August selling window as well.
Yeah, so I preluded to it a couple of minutes ago. He's the guy on your list that I am most excited about. People don't realize that he's the only quarterback in the NCAA last year that threw for 3,000 plus yards and rushed for 1,000 plus yards and had 30 plus touchdowns total. The only one.
There's some nice numbers.
Did you know that? I don't know if you knew that, but he's the only
I
one.
I only knew he ran for over 1,000. I didn't know he was the only one to hit those numbers. That's impressive.
Yeah, he was the only one to have 30 plus touchdowns, 1,000 rushing yards, and 3,000 plus passing yards in the entire country. He follows his coach to Auburn, and he's bringing 11 of his players with him, including his number one wide receiver.
Nice.
So, he's in a fantastic spot in a much bigger spotlight program. Most people probably never heard of him because, who follows USF football, but he's dynamic. He is a dynamic runner, thrower. I've heard a lot of people make comparisons that he's the closest thing they've seen in the last few years to Lamar Jackson, a guy that can do both.
Yeah. A gold auto for 110. That's nice. I love that.
Yeah, that's cheap for a gold. So his stuff around $100 for these low numbered autos. He's a player that I'm very, very high on.
Yeah, that's a huge buy. Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah, so last college football play for now. There's still a bunch of other plays, I think, to be made, but just wanted to talk about these few guys. Brandon Sorsby, he transferred to Texas Tech. He got a $6 million NIL package from them. So $6 million to transfer to Texas Tech. They see something special in this kid. He was getting a lot of draft hype too, coming out of Cincinnati. He had some pretty good numbers. He was high on a lot of draft boards, but he decided to take that $6 million. That's probably a big part of the reason why he stayed in college was because the NIL package was so big. But his stuff is super low price right now. Texas Tech was a contender last year. I think they will be again. They throw the ball a lot. He's going to have some incredible, some gaudy stats coming up this year. But yeah, you can get his base auto for $20. Just a no-brainer guy to buy some of his stuff right now, in my opinion.
Yeah, when I saw that he got $6 million, my eyes popped out of my head. That's better than a signing bonus, for a first-year quarterback in the NFL, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
It's no wonder that he stayed.
Yeah, I would too. It's an easy decision for $6 million.
All right. Should we hop to the MLB?
Yeah. Yeah, so baseball, I feel like we're in a weird place right now with baseball, to where some guys are a buy and some guys you want to sell. I'm starting to sell a lot of my cards earlier into the hype cycle. Almost like instead of buying into the hype cycle, you're selling into it. And some of these guys are going to have really good spring trainings. And they're not going to do so well in the regular season. And so you might want to take advantage. If you're making money on it, it can't hurt to let some things go. But then there's some other guys where we're not going to see them spike until maybe a call up or that actual performance spike. Luis De Leon is a guy that really flew under the radar until the fall league last year. He had some electric performances. He's a big power pitcher for Baltimore, throws very hard, gets a lot of strikeouts. I'm starting to buy more pitchers now than I have. I think with Skeens coming on, and then a lot of the guys last year, the Schlitter, McLean, Peyton Toll on Boston, Jonah Tong. We saw these guys get called up, and their Bowman Chrome autos went nuclear. So if you're able to get this guy at that $15 range, I mean, these guys that I just mentioned, their base autos went up to like $150. So there's a massive, you don't even have to grade their stuff. You just got to buy it now, hold on to it. When he gets called up, that's the time you want to start listing some of this stuff. But I think he's a tremendous player. The Orioles are super high on him. All of his fan graphs and stats are phenomenal. His numbers look good. So he's a big buy for me right now. I've got a lot of his cards.
Yeah, he's a fun story too, because if you follow him at all, he was so down and out last year that there was a point in time where he actually told the staff that he wanted to quit, because he's like, everybody can hit me. My stuff stinks. Why are you sticking with me? He completely lost his confidence. And they kind of had to build him back up. And then the second half of the year, he started to get his confidence back. And then in the Arizona Fall League, he just completely dominated. I mean, to the point where now they're talking, he's got a legitimate chance of making the MLB this year.
Yeah. Yeah, he cracks that Orioles rotation. I think the Orioles, I'm big on the Orioles having a nice bounce back season. Gunnar Henderson was another guy I wanted to put on the list too, just didn't have enough time. But he's I think with Alonso there, they're going to do much better than last year. And De Leon, love his stuff. I tried to do more established baseball players versus prospects on this one too. Julio Rodriguez, we all know him well, but I don't think we've seen the best Julio Rodriguez yet. He's still super young. He's on a very, very good young team. He didn't have the best season last year. And his card prices didn't go crazy. I think we're still seeing very, very low prices on his rookie card stuff. And he can put together an MVP season, whether it's, this year, next year, or a couple of years from now. He's a big buy for me at this point in time. I think his talent level is as good as anybody in MLB. And he's a guy that I really want to get behind.
Yeah, he's so up and down. His cards had gone nuclear a few years ago. Then he started off last year just terrible start to the season,
Yeah.
Which I've always, with the last couple of years, Julio does not have a good first half. He has a huge second half. So a lot of times I'm buying in the off season, selling in spring training, and then buying back in around May, June, when he has that slow start and his prices dip, and then selling again in August. It's been 3 years in a row I've been able to do that. So that's a pattern you can watch for with him as well.
Yeah, so Ben Rice had a pretty good year for the Yankees last year. I think he hit 27 or so home runs. Very popular player on the Yankees. However, his card market isn't quite as high as it probably should be. And he's got 40, 45 home run power potential in there. I did see yesterday that they brought Goldschmidt back, so I'm curious, how that's going to affect playing time for Ben Rice. But I feel like they're going to try and get his bat in the lineup as much as possible. But in terms of the Yankees, he's a nice young player. He's 26. He's kind of entering that power prime window of 27 to 31 years old. And I think we can see some 40 home run seasons from this guy. And doing that on the Yankees, you're going to see a really nice spike in his card prices.
Yeah, Topps Chrome Refractor rookie card for under $3.
Yeah.
The X-Fractor is kind of a cool looking card. That's, less than $5. So very, very affordable rookie cards.
Yeah.
I did see where they said that Goldschmidt was for sure going to be in the lineup whenever they faced a lefty. So then does that mean he's in the lineup as a DH? Does it mean he's at first base? I don't know. I think they're going to do their best to try and keep Rice in the lineup as much as they can, but they do have the DH spot as well. I think a lot of it probably depends upon, are they giving Judge a day off from the field and letting him DH, or Stanton, who's going to be the DH on any given day?
Yeah, agree. Yeah, Sal Stewart, he's a little pricey for a guy, just Bowman Chrome cards right now, but this guy has absolutely massive power potential. I mean, I'm talking Aaron Judge type of power coming off this guy's bat. The Reds are a team on the rise. Ellie, I think, is another long-term guy that I would get behind too, but I really love Sal Stewart. He's a guy that I'm targeting in every fantasy draft I'm in. I want him on my team. I want to have a good amount of his cards. They're not cheap. I think people know just how good he is, but he hasn't really done anything at the major league level to make an increase or spike happen yet. And I feel like that's coming this year. So I really like his stuff, couple $100 right now for a refractor auto, but you compare that to some of the other top prospects or top rookie candidates, and it's not that high.
Yeah, I like his power potential. And the Reds are certainly an up and comer, so it'll be a fun one to watch this year. The next guy on your list here, I was really high on a year ago, and now coming into this year, I've been backing off on him. So I'm interested to hear your take on this.
We've hit the 1 o'clock. If you're trying to,
yeah, I'm going to try and grab this box.
I can't find the link. I was trying to find it, but
looks like it's sold out already.
Bastards.
These bots, man. You can't get anything anymore.
I got one.
Did you?
Yep.
You got the regular box?
The regular box, yeah. I just put in for one because I knew it was going to be hard to get multiple. Yeah, it checked me out, so
nice.
I got one coming. I got lucky because I didn't get any of the Topps Chrome McDonald's yesterday. That irritated me.
Yeah, that was BS.
I had the same problem where it didn't want to check me out of the cart, and then I got busy. I was at work and I came back 2 minutes later and they were all sold out. So
what can you put in this birdhouse? I hate that. Gotcha.
Yeah, I have the same problem with those birds, and then it was asking another question, and I just kept doing it, and then I was about to give up, but then I hit refresh again, and all of a sudden the cases popped back up, and so I was able to snag one. I went back in, got hobby boxes. Hobby boxes were up again this morning for a few minutes, but they only let you buy 10 per account, so they cap people on what you can buy.
You gonna rip that stuff or?
That's a good question. Part of me wants to rip it. I can do a break with it too and make money, although that's probably the most work is to do that. I did really well ripping those and grading them last year. The Cooper Flag stuff was absolutely crazy. And this year you've got like 6 guys that are just really fantastic buys, and they're all going to be in the first top 10 picks. Most of them don't have cards. This is their first actual licensed card as well. So, DeBonta and Peterson autos are going to be quite the chase when those things come out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to get 4 of the hobby boxes and rip for a chance I'd have 12 autos then, and I was just going to rip them. I did very well the last 2 years with ripping and grading. I made money on every box I've done at McDonald's the last 2 years. Fortunate enough to get some good grades, but I'll be relegated to looking at the stupid blaster boxes from Walmart or something, but I'll get a bunch of those.
So Hurston, he's big Brave guy I'm behind right now. The Braves are super high on him. They think he's got some really filthy stuff. A dominant splitter, almost similar to the Paul Skeens slider that you see that is just unhittable pitch. He had some pretty good numbers for the Braves last year. The Braves were terrible, and nobody was really paying much attention to him. But when you ever hear the Braves and who they're high on in terms of their younger players, Waldrop's the guy that you always hear first. I think you see that spike from when the product first came out, and now it's settled back down. I really like the Braves this year. I think they're going to bounce back. Acuna is a guy that I would consider buying, although he's super risky with his injury history. And Waldrop is one that I really, really like his stuff. I like what the Braves are saying, and he's very, very affordable in terms of a top tier pitcher right now.
Yeah, like I said, a year ago with the Bowman stuff, I was high on him. I sold out of him, and then now this year I haven't. So I was surprised to see him on your list. I've heard everything I've been hearing is that he's most likely going to start the year in the minors because of the contract. The other pitchers they have on their roster, nobody else has a minor league option left. So unless they make a trade in spring training or flat out cut somebody, there's a good chance he starts the year down in the minors.
Good. Yeah, more opportunity to buy his stuff.
Yeah, for sure. I was really, like I said, these Bowman first autos, here's numbered to $4.99 an auto for $25. That's free money. That is free money.
I'll buy those all day.
Yep. All right, let's
So Denzel Clark, the A's, I think a lot of people know him from some of his highlights last year. He got some viral clips on SportsCenter for some of the plays he makes in the outfield. He is just an absolutely electric, exciting player to watch. He is so much fun. Really, really good outfielder. I mean, one of the best outfielders in the game. He's got great speed. Not a lot of home runs, not the most powerful hitter in the world, but he does his job at the plate. And I think he's just going to become one of the superstars in the league. He's in the World Baseball Classic playing for Team Canada as well. So I think we'll see some more noise from him, as he's probably one of their better hitters. And I think he's a great buy right now. His stuff is relatively cheap for rookie card autos as well as numbered rookie cards. And 25 years old, he's entering his prime. And I think the A's are another team, very young core that could do some really good damage this year. Kurtz is a little pricey. So I think Denzel Clark is the guy that you can make the most margin on with that team.
Yeah, he's an interesting player. I do think that we don't want to forget about the World Baseball Classic, because you could see some card prices jump from performances there as well.
Yeah.
So we might get the luxury of having that, spring training, call ups. I mean, there's going to be multiple chances to make money on some baseball this year.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, we've been on for an hour. Do we want to tackle one more WNBA or NFL, or where do you want to go?
Which one you guys rather do?
What would you rather do, Bo? You want to WNBA? I think WNBA, that's Bo's passion. Bo loves
Bo
the
likes
WNBA.
the ladies. Yeah.
I mainly do more of the college stuff, but sure.
Yeah, college, it's a hard buying window right now for college. I feel like we covered a lot of that on the last show, but we're a month away from the tournament starting, and I don't love holding college stuff after the season. I kind of want to move off of what I have for the college players, then hold stuff for the NBA, WNBA draft. And then sort of move out of them and start investing into the newer guys,
Yeah, I've got a whole bunch of Lauren Betts stuff that I've got to start
Nice.
figuring how I'm going to get rid of, when. Yeah.
Yeah, Betts, AZ Fudd. I was going to put those two on the list. Fudd has some licensed, like the UConn Panini NIL stuff, and her autos they're like $200.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much margin there is in that, but I think Betts is a good buy right now. Potential number one pick.
I got a PSA 10 on her Bowman first auto, and I looked at the pop count on that, and it's really low.
I
There's
bet.
not very many of them.
Yeah. Not that many people grade the women's stuff. You can do that with WNBA, get low pop counts as well.
I can't even. When you go into Market Movers, the only thing they even have in there for Page is college stuff. They don't have any pro stuff in there at all yet.
Oh, wow.
You go Prism and it kicks you right over to comps.
Huh.
Interesting. Yeah, Paige is at the top of the list. I like Caitlin Clark too. I feel like Caitlin is a good buy, but her stuff is already 2 to 3 times what Paige's is. And I don't think we've seen the best of Paige Beckers in the WNBA. She had some really good games last year, but she's got MVP potential. Dallas is going to get a top pick this year, and they're going to pair her alongside either AZ Fudd or Lauren Betts. And I feel like they're going to have a nice nucleus to make the WNBA playoffs. She's virtually unguardable. She dominates in the unrivaled 3-on-3 league already. She's becoming a fan favorite. She's always been a fan favorite, but now even more so, I feel like she's going to get to that Caitlin Clark level. But if you look at the pricing of her compared to Clark, they're not in the same ballpark. So I feel like with Paige, her silvers, her ice, you can even grade her base, Donruss, and Prism cards and do well when you get a PSA 10 on them too. So yeah, $12 for a base Prism. That'll easily be a $150 PSA 10.
Mm-hmm. I got a couple ice ones in the mail a few days ago that look gradable. I'll get those out pretty quick.
Nice.
You guys ordered a bunch of the Dick's Prism basketball a while back, didn't you?
Yeah,
Yep.
I had 20 boxes.
Yeah,
I didn't get in on that. I didn't order any of that, but
They're still there. You can still buy them.
yeah, I mean that's stuff you can rip and hit some silver Prism. I mean,
And those are the ones with the logo cards that are only
$42 for the ice, but $175 to $200 for a silver Prism. That'll help you get a couple of those. That'll help you pay for the box in a hurry.
absolutely. Yeah, this isn't easy at $30 a blaster. And this is how it was last year too. They came out, they were $30. You could buy WNBA Prism last year at this time pretty much wherever you wanted to get it at $30. And then the season started, and then the blasters went up to about 50. I think now they're in that 55 or so range, and those Dick's blasters are like $150.
Yeah, I still got 10 of those. I was selling them last summer. I sold half of my stash last summer for $180 a box.
Dang, that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's a massive markup.
Yeah.
Not many blasters you can sell for that kind of price. So Malonga, I'm really high on Malonga long term. I feel
Me
like
too. I think she might end up being the best player in the league. I mean, she's dunking on people.
I know. Yeah, wait till we start seeing alley-oops in the WNBA. She starts throwing down highlight reel dunks. She's putting it down pretty easy with two hands. She's incredibly young, so talented, so tall. She's like the female version of Wemby, just an athletic freak.
She seems like she's got a really cool personality too, that I think people like her.
Yeah, very smiley, kind of goofy almost.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, God, $4 for a silver prism, like, I mean, that's an insane buy. People they haven't gotten behind her. She was in Seattle. She didn't play the whole season. And then when she did, she had relatively limited minutes, but Seattle's a team on the rise, and they could really make some noise, I think, in the WNBA this year. So Malonga is probably my biggest buy right now for the league in terms of buying to grade and have for the WNBA season.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
Yeah, we talked earlier that the hollows aren't what they once were, but my play of the day the other day, I bought a lot of a 20-card lot of optic hollow. Actually, they're the foil because they're not the optics. They're the Donruss foil Malonga cards. And I got 20 of them with shipping and tax for $22.
Nice. Yeah, I think I have one of those right here. Yeah, this one.
I'm gonna send in at bulk for, you got $1 a piece in them at another $25 in shipping. I got to think that the PSA 10s will sell for $50-$60 once she starts being on ESPN night in and night out dunking.
Yeah, I feel like Unrivaled doesn't get the noise that it should. It doesn't. People aren't diehard WNBA fans follow it, but they play all the games in Miami. They're on TNT, so it falls under the radar a little bit.
Yeah.
But for those that pay attention, you can really see who the blossoming WNBA stars are. Citrone's also playing, or there's Amor. So Georgia Amor played at Virginia Tech and then Kentucky in college, tore her ACL and didn't get to play in the WNBA last year, but she's an absolute bucket, has fantastic ball handling skills, is going to be the future point guard for the Mystics. They're another super young team. They have Citrone and Erie Offen as well on that team who had really good rookie seasons. I think she would have had a great rookie season as well had she played. So now is a great opportunity to get her stuff before she hits the court and people start realizing just how talented she is. But she was a popular player in college. I think she's going to have a big following once she gets out there and starts playing. And as Dr. Crack is showing, some of her prices on her higher end cards, her impeccable autos, things like that are pretty affordable right now. So you can really get some of her nicer cards to hold going up into the WNBA year.
Yeah, I mean, $30 for a rated rookie auto.
Yeah.
I mean, that's cheap.
Yeah. Yeah, they've got, and the Impeccables have the on card as well. Beautiful looking cards. I don't know that I would grade the Impeccable stuff, but I think they're good to hold.
Yeah, they don't grade that. You really got to have a little bit of luck on your side to hit a 10, but
yeah. But yeah, $78 for an RPA. And they've got a couple other high-end WNBA releases coming out. Select comes out soon. Panini 1-in-1 WNBA comes out soon. So we'll get some more cards of these rookies, for the 4 rookies that I kind of highlighted here. So Citrone, she played at Notre Dame and was on the Mystics last year. Had one of the best rookie seasons I think the WNBA has seen. If it weren't for Paige Beckers, she could have won Rookie of the Year. She's playing also in Unrivaled, plays fantastic defense, very easy on the eyes, very popular player. And I think that we're going to see a lot of Sonia Citrone, marketing, hype, publicity coming out this summer as she gets more popular throughout the WNBA. But yeah, I like the Donruss, the Prism base or silver. I don't know that I would do her base Donruss cards. I would probably want to at least get the hollow foil to get a little bit more of a multiplier. And certainly her silvers or any numbered card of hers are must buys for me right now. And like Bo, like you mentioned, the WNBA pop counts are super low across the board. Even on Caitlin Clark stuff, there's not that many people that grade WNBA compared to the other sports. So, I send a lot of WNBA cards in. Some people ask me, why are you grading WNBA? And I just show them the multipliers. And then it's amazing how many pop 1s or under pop 5s you can get from some of these cards because people just aren't focused on them.
Yeah. And last year's quality control didn't help either.
Yeah. 24 Prism was rough.
Yeah.
Well, do that, or do we want to call it a wrap? It's up to you guys.
How about a couple NFL guys?
You want to blow through the 6 NFL players? What's that?
Yeah, we could go through them real quick.
What did you say, Bo?
I just said a couple NFL guys.
Sure. Yeah, let's do it.
I'm going to a show on Friday, and I'm mainly planning on buying NFL stuff.
Now's the time.
Yeah.
This is just for you then, Bo.
Right.
All right, let's make a Bo buy list.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so I put a couple rookies in here. I also put a couple of veterans that I think are good opportunities to buy right now. Malik Willis, he's a free agent. Rumors are he's going to Miami or Arizona. I've also heard of Pittsburgh as a potential destination. He played well when he got in the game for Green Bay. He had a little bit of hype, I feel like, in 22 when his cards first came out. But now, he's kind of been forgotten about because he's just, toiled a little bit as a backup. But he's going to get his moment to shine here. I feel like he's a guy you want to get some of his stuff now and sell in that August hype window when he's the starter for one of these NFL teams. And potentially even a longer term hold should he have a really good season. He's still, I believe he's 25 or 26. So very young, still has a lot of opportunity in front of him. But yeah,
believe it or not,
PSA 10s for. Go ahead.
Yeah, believe it or not, there is being from Green Bay area, being a Green Bay Packer fan, there is actually part of the fan base that's putting pressure on the Packers. He's played so well that they want to trade Jordan Love for a package of players and draft choices and save the millions of dollars in cap room and actually keep Willis and get rid of Love, if you can believe that. So
yeah.
So that's been growing. It's been getting louder and louder up here in Wisconsin with every passing week. More and more people are talking about it. And I don't think the Packers are entertaining it, but just the fact that the fan base is getting behind it speaks volumes for what Willis's card prices could do.
Absolutely. Yeah, he's a big buy for me. Basil Tootin, another guy on the list I really like. You're seeing his Prism NFL Prism just came out. Optic just came out. All the new rookie releases. I might wait a little bit to buy these guys and not buy them at the peak release price right now. Be like maybe wait 30 days or so. But Tootin, Omarion Hampton, Cam Ward, those are the three guys that I've really targeted. I feel like Jackson Dart and Scatterbo's pricing is crazy right now. I mean, Dart silver raws are $250. I've even seen some of those close to 300, and you can get a Cam Ward silver for like $70-$80 right now. To me, that's the guy that you want to get a hold of and really start, sell his stuff off early in the season next year.
I almost bought a downtown of his at the Dallas Card Show, but it was a little bit off. Yeah,
nice.
I mean, it was. I could tell it was too off center.
Yeah,
the price was a bit too high, but I wanted to get one.
I like the downtowns. I like the Panini case hits. I think we're going to see even more increase on desirability of those. Like Topps case hits just don't have that same feeling as Panini's, and I think the downtown, the Kabooms, the Color Blasts, the Mangas are going to see some really nice pricing increases over the next few years. We're not going to get those cards anymore.
Yeah, or they'll be unlicensed.
Yes.
Yeah, they don't. There aren't a lot of Tootin cards out there, really.
Yeah.
I have his Bowman first auto somewhere.
Yeah, Virginia Tech.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was if ETN didn't play so well, I think Tootin would have gotten a lot more hype. But instead he sort of fell under the radar nationally. Two other guys I like, wide receiver Malik Neighbors. I think he's one of the most talented players in the league. Unfortunately, he got hurt early last year, but now with the emergence of Jackson Dart, I think Neighbors is going to really explode. He's got the potential to be the number one receiver in the league, and his prices don't reflect that right now. So a lot of room to grow on him.
I did get his downtown at the.
Oh, nice! Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, his silver is down to $11 for raw.
Yeah. Yeah, and being in New York, that stuff will go crazy if they win a few ball games. And then Justin Jefferson's another guy I really like right now. I've been looking at a lot of his 2020 stuff. I like the silver prisms. I still think he's probably the number one receiver in the league right now. He hasn't had the stats through injuries and quarterback play. His stats haven't really followed that recently, but I think if JJ McCarthy gets a little bit more experience, gets better for next season, we could start to see the real Justin Jefferson show up. And the guy is he runs around wide open all day because nobody can cover him, and just puts up, Randy Moss type of highlights on the regular.
Yeah. It's got the dance moves all the kids are copying.
Yeah, that's right.
He had the best quote going into the Super Bowl when they asked him how he felt about
Darnold
seeing his quarterback in the Super Bowl, and he goes, "It's really, really painful."
Yeah, I bet.
that was his only. It's really, really painful, he said. So, I don't know if he's got that level of trust with McCarthy or not, but I guess we'll see. But yeah, him and Jamar Chase are kind of on a level of their own. Puka gets a lot of the notoriety because, of course, he made the Super Bowl, but.
Yeah, Matt Stafford. I mean, if Justin Jefferson had Matt Stafford, you'd be seeing some crazy numbers coming out of those two.
You might see the first 3,000-yard receiver in the league or something,
Wow.
Yes, 20 touchdowns. Yeah, Jerry Rice type of numbers for sure.
Yeah, something you only see in a Madden football Xbox game.
Right? Yeah.
Well, that is pretty much a wrap. Eric, we appreciate you coming on. We hope to have you on again here. I know we sure got a lot of viewer feedback stating how much they enjoyed you in the last episode. And I know Bo and I enjoyed having you here. It's always fun having another face to talk to, and somebody that casts a net as wide, actually wider than mine. I don't meet many people that have nets wider than mine. So enjoy having somebody to talk to with that. So really appreciate you coming on.
Absolutely. I enjoyed it. Anytime. We'll do it again with the whole new set of plays. And yeah, diversification has always been key for me, just make sure you got a little bit going on in different buckets.
Let's make sure we get a plug here for you too, for your Whatnot. What is your Whatnot channel?
Yeah, Whatnot is Mr. Hop. I do a lot of single shows on there. A lot of the cards I'll grade and then sell the slabs on Whatnot. Mostly do weekend shows, and got really big into Bo Jackson Battle Arena too. So I've been doing a lot of case breaks and stuff for that on Whatnot as well.
Yeah, I had a few people after the last show reach out to me saying they couldn't find the Card Society on Whatnot.
Oh yeah. That's my Instagram handle. But yeah, Mr. Hop is the one.
Mr. Hop.
That's it.
All right. Well, that sounds good. Appreciate everybody. As anybody wants to comment, keep the messages coming. We appreciate them. And have a great week collecting. Good luck at your card show this weekend, Bo.
Yeah, can't wait to see the buys.
Yeah, we need
them all. Yeah,
enjoyed your Dallas buy list. That was good. You aren't out of money yet, are you?
I actually had $1,000 that I took to Dallas that I forgot was in this one pocket, and then I left Dallas.
God.
So that's what I'm taking on Friday.
Nice.
Yeah.
Love finding $1,000 that I forgot in a pocket. That's a good day.
Never
That's better than hitting the snipe and winning.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man.
All right. Well, until next time, guys, thanks for joining in, and we'll see you next time.
All right. See you.